Oh, yeah, we're back in town again at 6 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Friday, April 19th, 2019. If you didn't get your taxes done, you're 4 days late, so get on it. What are you waiting for? 44 degrees outside. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane, and the aforementioned Shane Montalban, half man, half amazing, on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, as always. And how you doing, man?
Staying alive, staying alive.
Staying alive.
That's it. I'm not going to sing anymore. That's it.
Yeah. Well, you went to the doc yesterday, got your meds, so you're good to go, huh?
I'm good to go. The golden ticket won. Yay.
All right. You're on the beam. Well, I had a nice lunch yesterday with Aaron Flint. He and I went out to lunch together. He's in town.
Cool.
He was covering the Candace Cummings and Charlie Crick thing last night at MSU, and quite a turnout for that. So, and he's going to be live at the Grand Tree this morning here in Bozeman.
Okay.
So if you want to go down and say hi to Aaron, he'll be in the lobby of the Grand Tree broadcasting his 9 to 10 show. And so get down there and say hi to Aaron if you are a fan. Yeah, he'll be happy to see you, and maybe put you on the air if you got something to say, or you can just sit there and watch, whatever. So I'm going to head down there too after we get off the air here. And so our broadcast may be a little late, our pre-broadcast or post-broadcast may be a little late today, but I will get that up ASAP. So that's where we are. And it's finally Friday. Oh, my God. Ow. Jennifer Bordy will join us at 8 o'clock. But right now, man, we got some weather to talk about, good and bad. Good weather, bad weather. Yeah, I know.
Don't tell me more snow, please.
No snow. We're a little too warm for snow, and even if it did snow, it wouldn't hang around very long. But no, we're looking for a high of 67 today, mostly sunny, which is the good news. The bad news is that tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, rain and thunderstorms move in. And there's about 100% chance of precip in the afternoon and late evening hours, all the way into Sunday, tapering off Sunday night. Saturday, we're at 53 degrees will be the high, 36 the overnight low. Sunday, 46 and 33 respectively. Light rain on Sunday. And then Monday, of course, when you go back to work, it's back up to 56 and clouds in the afternoon, or AM clouds and PM sunshine. So it should be a nice day to go back to work, and then back up to 65 on Tuesday. Partly cloudy, 41 the overnight low. And then Wednesday, back up to 66, 62 on Thursday, 57 on Friday. So that should round out your week. So other than getting through Saturday and Sunday, should be a pretty nice week. So if you want to get out and do some stuff, or, just drive to work in sunshine for a change and no snow and ice, and it'll be halfway warm, you can dress accordingly. And this is the time of year when you pile on the big coat in the morning and you're sweating going home at night. So
yeah, exactly. That's right.
All right. Well, let's check out our day in history. Big day today, 1775. The American Revolutionary War began with the battles of Lexington and Concord. What a day in history this day was.
Oh,
Shane.
Man, it's huge. And of course, we had yesterday the ride of Paul Revere. So obviously, the battle was the next day, which it was. Mm-hmm. April 19th, 1775, in Middlesex County, province of Massachusetts Bay.
There you are.
It basically in the towns of Lexington, Concord, Lincoln, and Cambridge. It was the shot that was heard around the world, as we said yesterday. Yep. After the Old North Church in Charlestown waved two lanterns by sea. Mm-hmm. And anyway, at the end of the day, the Americans drove the British out of Lexington and Concord and back to Boston. Yeah. So it was quite a remarkable thing in that, and then we can go on. But I find this fascinating because of the rides of 40 men to warn the citizens. 3,960 colonists militia showed up.
Wow.
To challenge 1,500 regulars of the British Army. Now, remember, this is the British Army that had survived, or was about to survive the Napoleonic Wars. So, this was a well-trained, disciplined army, and some militia guys just drove them back, and there were 49 Patriots killed, 39 wounded, and 5 missing. 73 British regulars killed, 174 wounded, and 53 missing.
Wow.
So there you go. The first battle of the Revolutionary War. It's amazing. Considering what's gone on and what happened yesterday, this is really just incredible. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened yesterday, how much of a parallel it'll be to something like this, but it's probably going to be up there pretty high in the top 10 things, I think.
Well, it'll be one of the top 10 stories of the year.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, Shane, do you think if this were to happen today, let's say we're invaded by somebody or somebody wants to, do you really think, I don't think there's any doubt that 3,800 Montanans would show up with guns, but do you think 3,800 New Yorkers would, or Massachusetts would, or Rhode Island, Connecticut? I mean, there's got to be hunters there, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think people in rural America would show up. Yeah, no question about it. They would.
But I just see De Blasio putting out the welcome flag,
Well, that's because he doesn't have a gun.
Well, that's what I mean. What's wrong with him?
The people in America that don't have guns would surrender, and the people with guns would carry their Bibles, and they would go.
Yeah,
they would. They did before. They'd do it again.
Well, I guess it would depend on how real the threat was as to, what people would do. I see them, if they're under attack, I see them looting in New York. I don't see them showing up with guns to fight anybody off. I say, the cops are into something, Walmart's open. Free stuff at Walmart. Yeah. Free stuff at Walmart.
Zings it again. I mean,
yeah. I'm taking my gun down to Walmart. I don't know. It's a sad state of affairs where our society's headed. I don't know. We've lost that American spirit somewhere along the line, and I don't know if we'll ever get it back, Shane.
Maybe in the urban areas, but I don't think in the rural areas.
In the cities, you mean?
Yeah, the cities have been dumbed down by the Democratic Party in the major cities in your country for the last 60 years.
Well, in 1897, the first Boston Marathon was run. They ran one just a couple days ago, and no events this time, no explosions, no deaths, no problems. So
lots of participation. It's one of the largest in the world, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a big deal. Yeah. Well, in 1933, also a big day for today, the United States went off the gold standard in 1933, so you couldn't own gold.
Well, that's right, and that's because the banks closed, and there was this difficulty of dividing between collapse and trying to maintain some kind of economic position for the country. Well, the crash occurred in 29. The actual results didn't filter down until 32, 33.
Right.
And then you had the incessant issue with the climate change of the time.
Well, that too.
Nobody wants to talk about the Dust Bowl. My God.
No, yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah. Anyway, it went on. It started in 31 and really accelerated by 33. So FDR, took the U.S. off the gold standard. So did Great Britain. A number of other countries, a lot of Scandinavian countries went off the gold standard, mostly because, again, the biggest problem with the depression of that era was there was just not enough cash money printed and issued to be dispersed amongst the public to be able to, people literally had more money in the bank than they had currency to cover.
Yeah.
And that was the problem.
That was the problem. Well, in 1943, tens of thousands of Jews living in the Warsaw Ghetto began an uprising against Nazi forces, and I don't think that worked out very well for them. But they tried.
It was a very sad thing because there were so many Jews in Poland when Germany took over in 1938 and 39. They basically used this area of Warsaw as a camp, and they fenced it in, and 400,000 Jews were, kept there. And it was basically the first Nazi concentration camp of the war. And, as we know, resulted in the concentration camps around or in Poland and Germany and some other Eastern European countries. Yeah. And, 6.5 million people were just, killed. And it's just, every time you talk about genocide, it's not an easy word or thought to sort of carry quickly. I'm talking slowly because having to use these words.
I know.
They're overwhelming. They're very sad.
They are. They're very sad, yeah. Well, in 1951, General Douglas MacArthur, relieved of his command by President Harry S. Truman, bid farewell to Congress, quoting a line from a ballad, "Old soldiers never die, they just fade away."
Yeah, I got that from, where he went to college, because he graduated from the U.S. Army's great place there in New York. And
West Point, yeah.
West Point, that's right. And it's amazing, too, the number of generals from the German side that went there. And even the Japanese army that went to West Point. That it was a really amazing place. But this guy was great, game changer. Like Patton in Europe, he changed the war in the Pacific, even though he was in the Army. He led the Marines of the Navy and did a remarkable job saving Japan, reconstituting it, and then saving the Korean Peninsula from communist aggression. Yeah. So. And this is a guy during World War I as a young man who was a lieutenant, in the no man's zone, that would get up and walk across the no man's zone, leading his army, his men with a pistol and a saber, and never got shot.
Yeah.
People wrote about it in their diaries and stuff. They couldn't believe this lieutenant.
I know, yeah.
Who is this guy? And his family was of American military history too. Yeah. He was fourth generation, so great, right back to his great grandfather in the Revolutionary War.
Wow.
Huge guy, major guy.
Yeah. 1961, the Federal Communications Commission authorized regular FM stereo broadcasting starting on June 1st, 1961, and boy, that was the height of the rock and roll music industry when it really went viral on radio with FM stations. You got stereo, you got the whole 9 yards, and everybody went nuts over that. You had stereos finally in the car, and man, that was a turning point of everything. Beach Boys, the Beatles were just ready to come out, and that was quite a time.
And the remarkable thing is it was the money time of the game. I mean, this was the golden age of music for people. They got 3 cents every time their song got played, no matter how many times a day at every station. Yeah. Every station that played. So you had thousands and thousands of stations across the United States paying. And the other thing that was amazing was that this was the vanguard of decision making by the Federal Communications Agency, or Commission rather,
right, yeah.
Which was established in 1934, 84 years ago. Amazing thing, they've only got about 1,600 employees, but they have a budget of $386 million.
Yeah, I know. That's a big deal.
I love it. I love America. It's great. You look into these budgets in the government, it's just this is great. I love this.
Well, I'll tell you, this is an amazing day. The hits just keep on coming. In 1993, a 51-day siege at the Branch Davidian compound near Waco, Texas, that ended with when fire destroyed the structure after federal agents smashed their way in. Dozens of people, including secta leader David Koresh, was killed. And we've got to take a break here. We're going a little long here. We got to get the Headwaters Livestock Report in. We've got to get the emergency broadcast test in. So we'll be right back with more right after this. 23 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Friday, April 19th, 43 degrees outside. I may have messed that test up. It's supposed to beep and stuff. Not sure it did, but anyway, let's hope. I
do. I really do.
I don't know what I was doing. Well, we'll run it again next hour. You'll be treated to two of them. How's that?
All right.
We were talking about the Branch Davidian, David Koresh, and that was really a mess at the time, Shane. What a day that was back in history.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
And also, let's see.
Rodney King.
Well, before we get to Rodney King, on April 19th, 1995, a truck bomb exploded outside the Alfred P. Murrah building in Oklahoma City, killing 168 people and injuring 500. And Timothy McVeigh was later convicted of federal murder charges and executed, I believe, in Utah. So, but yeah, that was a big day there. And also, as you mentioned, 1994, Los Angeles jury gave $3.8 million to Rodney King for the beating he took from police in the Los Angeles area, and his famous phrase, "Can't we just get along?" And
that's right.
Riots came out of that, of course, and it was a tough time back in that particular time with race relations and everything. Really got heated up during that time.
That's right. It resulted in the 1992 Los Angeles riots. I mean, so much of that part of the city, the
Watts riot back then.
Yeah, exactly. Burnt down, and the Korean neighborhoods burnt down. It was very sad, very, very sad.
Yeah. Well, on a happy note, 2001, Mel Brooks' musical "The Producers" opened on Broadway.
Wow, what a great movie!
That was a movie and a play. A great musical, yeah.
Yeah, with Zero Mostel, what a guy! He was great. He is great.
And in 2005, Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger of Germany was elected Pope and took the name Benedict the 16th.
Yeah, and I think the first Pope to retire.
Yeah, he left without dying.
Yeah, how amazing is that?
Yeah,
wow.
usually they croak before they get another.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then of course he can't help himself but stick his finger in everything because he failed so terrible as a pope. But it's amazing. The church is in real disarray right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, it really is. 2011, on this date, Cuba's Communist Party picked 79-year-old Raul Castro to replace his ailing brother Fidel as the first secretary during a key party congress. And we're still battling back and forth with relations with Cuba and what we're going to do with them and all of that going on, Shane. So
that's right.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
I know. Well, let's see. Birthdays.
No. Wait. Before you skip it real quick, I'm just asking, literally, how cool is that? I mean, will they ever resolve this issue?
With Cuba?
Yeah.
Not until Raul dies.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
I mean, what are they going to resolve?
Well,
I mean, Cuba's calling the shots in Venezuela. What does that tell you?
You're right there. Okay, I was stupid question. First one in the morning.
That's all right. Elliot Ness, a famous crime fighter, head of the Untouchables in Chicago, was a real guy. Born on this date in 1903, died at the age of 54. So he's pretty good. And Jane Mansfield, American motion picture actress, born on this date in 1933, beheaded in an automobile accident at the age of 34 in 1967. Wow. That's something that you don't want to have happen to you. So drive carefully out there. So.
Yeah, don't make a wrong turn.
Yeah. Well, in case you're wondering, driving around Bozeman, you may have seen the flags at half staff, and the reason the flags are at half staff, and the reason that I know why the flags are at half staff is because I went to KMMSAM.com. And there is a proclamation from the governor there that we are honoring firefighters who've lost their lives in various fires and things like that. So that's why the flags are at half staff around Bozeman. And the Montana state. So if you're wondering, as I was, but I simply went to the source that I know will tell me. And KMMSAM.com had it featured right there. Even the proclamation is there. And of course, yesterday when I wanted to get my copy of the Mueller Report, where did I go? KMMSAM.com, where it was right there to download, and I could download the full 480 pages, send it over to Shane, and I'll spend the weekend reading it, I guess. I didn't have enough time last night, but
oh, come on, tell me you're not going to read the 400-page Mueller Report.
Sure, why not? We got to do that, you know.
Oh, I did.
Oh, well, I know you did. So
yeah, what crazy. Crazy.
Well, there are 10 things in there that the Atlantic and some other things pointed out that might come back and haunt Trump a little bit. You know, there's 10 issues in there that might be obstruction, depending on how you look at it. You know, so the Democrats are going to be looking pretty hard at that. So whether or not it turns into anything, we'll see. But we got to duck out of here right now and pay some bills. We got Fox News, and we got the weather back again. We got Jacobus with Gesundheit to add. We got Big Sky Mattress. We got Yellowstone County Motors. Oh, my God. This is wonderful. Let's enjoy it while it lasts.
While it lasts. There
right.
You go.
All right. Shane and I'll be back right after the news. 25 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Friday, April 19, 2019, 42 degrees outside, and beautiful day. We're looking for a high in the mid-60s. What is the metric temperature for 60?
Oh, the metric temperature would be 15.
Okay, because I think whoever the lady is said we're looking for a high in the 20s today, and I think she's looking at the metric. So this may be the warmest day we've seen in Bozeman for a while. The highs are expected to be in the 20s. So I'm thinking,
well, 20 would be like that'd be like 70 degrees.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Well, it's pretty close to that. It's going to be we're looking for a high around probably 66, 67. Something like that.
About right.
But I just caught that. I thought, okay, so until 5 o'clock, you're going to be talking about highs in the 20s. So good luck. Good luck with that.
The simplest rule to remember: double your temperature and add 30.
Okay. Don't you add 32? 32? Yeah.
If your temperature is 22, double it. 44, add 30. It should be around 72.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll work, I guess. I don't know.
It does. It's general. It's a general rule. It's not exact. It's not exact.
Not exact. Okay. Well, I don't know why the world doesn't wake up and get off that stupid metric system.
Yeah.
I mean, are we the only life form here that realizes how stupid that system is? I mean, it's all based on tens, you know.
But what's so funny about it is everybody has to print both on their products because of you.
Well, so what? That's their fault, not ours.
The whole idea was the globe was going to go metric. So,
jeez. Yeah. Well, we put the kibosh on that, man. I tell you.
Like Canada, everything has French and English.
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I'm not working with a 10-inch ruler.
Well, I just think all the products in China and India, China and India has 188 dialects, and China has something that's 74. Yeah. Can you imagine a product that you buy with a list of 74 different dialects on
Wow. Be like the ballots in New York City.
Exactly.
Well, what do they got? 800 dialects in New York City, I think, 800 different languages or something like that. I don't know. It's ridiculous what they've got going on there. So, we've got a population growth in the county, Shane, 25% up since 2010. Population has reached nearly 112,000, according to new estimates by the U.S. Census Bureau released yesterday. That's 22,363 people moved in, and or 25% up from the 2010 numbers. So
That's the ones that you know of that did.
Well, that's true. Yeah, well, well, we're going to count them all because we can't ask them if they're legal or not. So I don't know. I'm still upset about that. Yeah.
I know.
I mean, you can put down you're not a citizen if you're here on a green card or you're here on a work visa or you're a student or there's any numbers of the ways you can enter the country legally, and put no, I'm not a citizen, and fill out the form. And why not? What's the big deal?
We know. We know what it is, but
it doesn't say, are you here legally?
No, it doesn't say that at all.
It says, are you a citizen? Are you a citizen? What's the big deal? If you're not, say no.
Well, and as we said, the big deal is all the treats and freebies that people get. Or,
I was going to say, the more census people fill out, they don't have enough toilets, or if you go through and you read all the census questions, every single one of them is an entitlement. It's a giveaway. It's something.
That's 100%.
It really is, and that's why the last census in 2010, I refused to fill it out. I got the long form, and I don't know how many people came to my house and said, "You got to fill this out. It's the law." And I said, fine, take me to jail. And no one ever did. I said, there's two people living in this house, one man, one woman. And, we got got 2 dogs, a cat, and a bird. So get out. Yeah. That's all you need to know. You're counting the people. I'm represented in the House of Representatives. So that's all you need to know, man. Yeah, you don't need to know about my toilets. You don't need to know about, my square footage or... But
that's a perfect example, though, that question about the toilet. And one of the reasons is they have all these agencies to do these studies about it.
Oh, yeah.
Why should there be toilets? How many toilets are there? How
many per person do you need? If you got more than 4 people, do you need 2? Or I don't know, man. It just drives me nuts that.
Well, I think if they standardize toilets, there should be one per person. Okay, it's only fair. You have your own place to go to the bathroom. If you're going to be a first world nation, no outhouses, just toilets for all.
Yeah.
What a campaign slogan! Toilets for all.
That's right. Everybody ggets 2. The gold-plated ones probably too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. From our text line 478-8298. Our tax base has increased 25%. Our tax base has increased 25%. Why do we need an increase in taxes?
I mean, total logical question.
Makes pretty good sense to me, right? Let's see. From yesterday, a text we didn't get to from the same texter. I would like to see an electoral system for our state elections to give the sparsely populated counties here an equal vote. And I've mentioned that we could have an electoral college in Montana because we got 56 counties.
That's right.
And each county could get a vote based on their population.
Who wins the popular vote?
Sure. And, who takes it on. Also, think about how this influx of illegals affects wages. Democrats cry for a living wage, yet flooding the country with illegals keep the wages down. Supply and demand. So there you go. All right. And I think that's about it from our text line this morning so far. So yeah. Well, some other things we've got to talk about, of course. The boom goes on, but also Bob Watson, the Bozeman School District, is leaving. He led 7,000 student Bozeman School District for 7 years here. He's offered Thursday the superintendent's job at the Missoula County Public Schools. So he has accepted that pending contract, and so he will be gone. And I guess they will be looking for a new superintendent of schools here. So,
wow!
If you're interested in that job, then hey, here's a tremendous opportunity for you. So go for it. Yeah.
Oh, this story you got to cover. Come on, we got to talk about the discrimination suit settled by Montana State University, and then the new suit, the transgender suit. So This is great.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
So a university student gets thrown off the campus for allegedly discriminating against a transgender woman. He sues the university, and the university settles with him for 120 grand. So he picks up 120 grand,
Yep.
gets to go somewhere else and pay for his college somewhere else. She, in turn, now is suing the university, her own lawsuit against MSU, alleging that the university discriminated against her as a campus employee by refusing to provide medical insurance coverage for her gender-affirming surgery, which is about $250,000.
Yeah, that's a little much.
Wow.
That's a little much.
That's just amazing.
Yeah, that's well, yeah, I guess. Well, 120 grand. What'll that cover? One semester at some other school?
Well, probably. Yeah,
that doesn't sound like a lot of money to me.
Well, school, it probably covered, no, that everything, I think like 1 year, room and board.
Maybe a year of room and board. Yeah, might cover that. I guess
yeah.
Depends on what school you go to, whether it's,
exactly,
what's the one they always advertise on television? The New Hampshire Southern online university. It'll change your entire trajectory.
Well, it drives me crazy. Bernie Sanders running around saying, free education for everyone. Well, the U.S. has been funding education since 2010,
Yeah.
and people they've provided money to go to school
Yeah.
are now in debt for $1.4 trillion. And this guy is suggesting that everybody should have this right.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine? Like, it's like, if people don't even look at what is even there
I know.
before they get all excited about what someone promises them.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, the Montana House passed a bill Thursday to continue the Medicaid program for another 6 years. Yep, that was passed. So health care for about 96,000 low-income residents. The medical expansion passed 61 to 35, just hours after accepting Senate amendments, and it now goes to Governor Steve Bullock, and he is expected to sign it. So I guess that's a good deal there. So
and your governor has an line veto, right? Item line veto.
I don't know if they do or not in Montana. I'm not sure he does or not.
I think when we talked to the boys last time, I think he mentioned.
Did he mention it? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
the senator did. Yeah.
Okay. From our text line, 478-8298, Democrats don't want the citizenship question because representation in the House is determined by population, and we mentioned that a little bit yesterday. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And also from our text line, you missed a great evening with Charlie Kirk, Candace Owen, and Kyle Kashov. Wow. Okay. So there you are. Well, yes, I did miss it, but otherwise I would be dragging in here if I was up till 9 or 10 o'clock last night. So
that's right.
Yeah, you gotta make sacrifices somewhere along the line. So, but I read a little bit about it. I'm sure it was a great evening, and I'm glad they were here. And I didn't hear much about demonstrations or anything like that going on, so that was a good thing. So
yes, indeed, huge.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back with more right after this. 9 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Friday, April 19th, 2019, 42 degrees outside, and Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eagle off your morning mayor in the house, and hey, don't forget about our AM 1450 KMMS app. This is a great way to keep in touch. You can hear all of our shows, our rebroadcasts on the app, and you get the latest up-to-date news. Our IT guy is on top of everything. As I told you, if I wanted to find out why the flags are at half staff, I go to KMMSAM.com. If I wanted to see the full Mueller report and download it, I went to KMMSAM.com. So it's the place to be, either on your computer, but if you're carrying your smartphone around and there's breaking news, accidents on the highways and things like that during stormy weather. Well, we've got it all right there. So get your app, AM 1450 KMMS app. You'll be glad you did. From our text line, they were asking about the coal strip and Northwestern Energy. They were trying to put a rider in the bill about... Turn your thing down when you do that.
I did. I muted both.
Well, you didn't mute. So, I don't know. We'll have to test that sometime before we go on the air. We'll have to find.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you now. Yeah, I hear you fine. So, let's see. You got to quit smoking, man. You got to give it up. All right. Lawmakers also sent to a conference committee a bill that could be used in an effort to authorize Northwestern Energy to purchase an additional share of a coal-fired power plant in Colstrip, along with an additional access to a high-voltage power line. The committee is expected to meet next week. Democrats and moderate Republicans supported the Medicaid program and reached a compromise between two proposed bills. One that would have continued the program much as it was since 2016, and another that would have killed the program if the federal government rejected work requirements. So I think there should be work requirements. If you're able-bodied and can work, I think you should, if they've got a job for you, that should be done. So I hope that clears it up for the texter. Let's see. You can watch the event from last night online. They were threatened with brick throwing. Wow. Okay. So we're talking, of course, about Charlie Kirk and Candace Cummings, and Gianforte and Danes were at MSU. So I figured there would probably be some demonstrators or something going on there. So it was kind of bad, but we got to take another break. We ran a little long on that first segment, so we'll be right back right after this. 2 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Friday, April 19th, 2019, 42 degrees outside. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house, and you're listening to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane and Tom on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, the half-man, half-amazing gentleman up there. He is quite a handful.
Yeah, I tried to make it that way. You can't, gotta keep the song going.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Let me go over here. I'm sorry, I said Candace Cummings is Candace Owens, not Candace Cummings. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well,
blew that one. So Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens, and I'm not sure where Candace Cummings comes from, but who knows? I don't know.
I think it's one of those girls in high school you did.
Oh, yeah, it probably is. Yeah, it's a girl I went to high school with, probably. Freudian slip, huh?
A Freudian slip, yeah. Well, in a matter of speaking.
Yes, of course.
A Freudian kiss in this case.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, saved by the top of the hour.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Let's see. We got Jennifer Bordy in at 8 o'clock. And, of course, when we come back, there are how many things you need to know, Shane? At least 5 things you need to know. And also, Romney Hall got their money, so we're going to talk about that when we come back, too, before we do the 5 things. I know. Yeah, Shane wants to change the name, so we're ready to go. All right. Okay, we got Fox News at the top of the hour. We've got the weather, where they'll tell you, they'll give you the metric temperature, and we'll be right back. All right, thank you, Dan. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, she did say 20s, so she's giving you the metric temperatures. That is our own Brady Brewster, so maybe she's from Canada, Shane. You don't know, huh?
Maybe I should. I'll meet her when I come down in July.
That's right. Hey, that reminds me, Shane is coming down here in July, and one of the things that we've been kicking around is a free night with Tom and Shane. And what do you think about that? 522-TALK is the number, or 478-8298. We'll, put on something for you. I don't know what, but meet maybe like at the big room at the library or something like that. Bring your own snacks, and if it's free, we're not going to spring for anything.
Yeah, because if you bring your own booze, you have to share it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't know about booze in the library, but we'll see.
That was a joke, Tom.
I understand that. Yeah, so
I'm just gonna have a coffee mug.
That's right. Yeah, coffee with a little something in it. That's all we're going to have, right? But yeah, if you think you'd like something like that, give us a call or shoot us a text, and we'd be happy to do that while Shane's in town. You get a chance to meet both of us and voice your comments, quibbles, criticisms, or complaints, or whatever about both of us. And we always like to meet the callers and see who people are, and we're certainly not closed people anywhere. So we're happy to meet anybody, and we're pretty thick-skinned. If you don't like some things, you can tell us. We're not going to beat you up or anything. we'll take the heat.
And I believe there's vast numbers of people that would like to come.
You think so? Well, we'll see. 522-TALK is the number. Let's go to the phones. Caller, you're here on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hi, Tom and Shane. This is Donna.
Yeah,
Donna. Maybe
Donna, would you come see us?
I would, but I'm in Livingston, and it's hard for me to get around, so I probably won't. I'll be there with you.
If we send a car for you, you'd come?
I would be there for you in spirit. So.
Okay, good.
All right.
Maybe the problem with the weather is the same with the news at the bottom, the Fox News at the bottom of the hour. They've been playing the same one for about a week now.
Really? I got so much to do here, I don't pay attention to it.
Yeah,
so.
it's Trump when he came out and said he was going to maybe put people into the sanctuary cities.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and the gal down in China, or the China gal down in Florida that they arrested.
Yeah.
So.
Well, those are little clips that our engineer plays and puts in there for Phil. So
okay, well
that's why they're repeating probably.
No, this is the actual news.
Oh, it's the actual news. Okay,
yeah.
All right. Well, we better look at that then. I'll try and listen to it this hour, and we'll see if.
Okay, but it's the same. It's been the same.
Well, the bottom of the hour I think is recorded, so it may be it just may be stuck in the system.
Amen.
That's what I think has happened to it, because I think the top of the hour I think is live.
Yes, it is. It's fine, but the bottom of the hour is playing the same one over and over and over.
Oh, man. So. Well, all right. Well, thanks for that call.
Yeah, well, you're doing a great job.
Well, it's frustrating when stuff looks like it's working and then it doesn't,
Well, see, this will make it a little greater.
Well, that's true.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate you putting up with it at least.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, now you had an important point to discuss. What was your question?
No, that was it.
That was it.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah.
I just wanted you to be aware of that.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Well,
that's very kind of you.
Maybe I'll turn it down. We'll just talk over it or something.
Okay, sounds good. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks a lot, Don. I appreciate it. All right. Yeah, that's I hadn't noticed because at the bottom of the hour we're picking music and we're doing we're checking the text line and we're checking the news and everything else, and that's kind of our break, or we head down the hall. Get rid of some coffee.
Everybody, I want you to know he keeps saying we, and it's me. All right?
Yeah.
He does all this production work on his own. There is no we. It is him. All right. So props to the Eagle Man.
Yeah, you just sit there and there you go.
Because I haven't shaved all week. I only shave on Friday now because I'm
old.
old.
There you go. Okay. Let's see, from our text line, 478-8298. I take you two to the dinner at Outback. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if we can do that or not. That may be payola.
That's right. Yeah. Get back.
And have a barbecue at a park. We should do that. Maybe have a barbecue at a park. I think having a meet and greet with Tom and Shane's a great idea from our text line. So we'll explore that. Find a place. To do it, maybe, I don't know, maybe a 5 to 7 or 6 to 8 or something like that evening, and just kind of, get everybody home in a decent hour. And it'll be in July when the sun will be up. You won't have to drive home in the dark and whatever. So, but yeah, we'd like to do something like that. We'd like to get together with the folks that listen to us and get some feedback on what you like or don't like or what you'd change or anything like that. We're always open to suggestions on how to make the show better. So,
and unlike Tom, who will have books there to sell and sign, I have nothing to sign, but
we'll have to make some. What you need to do is get a bunch of pictures.
Oh yeah, right. People want a picture of me.
Of course they do. What do you, a signed picture of you? Are you kidding me?
Right.
Do you know what an heirloom that'll be in 100 years?
Oh my God, give you a break. It's like I love the tradition in your country. When you walk into a federal office, I would have a picture of your president up on the wall.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, that's what people, they'll hang your picture in their living rooms. Come on.
Sure they will. Yeah,
all right.
Next to the grandchildren. Yeah, right.
Yeah, let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, thanks for calling. You're on the air. What's up?
This is Jerry, Tom. I'm thinking it better be tasteful. Okay, a tasteful picture. All right.
Of course. Yeah.
I'll bring a keg. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do a parade on the way to it.
Whoa, there you go. That'll work.
Just don't bring a Dairy Queen ice cream cake because it'll melt.
Yeah, right.
I didn't say cake. I said keg.
Keg. He's bringing a keg.
Oh, a keg.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, shot glasses for everyone.
Well, I don't know.
No.
We'll have to explore that park idea.
You got to have red Solo cups. You can't.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. All right, appreciate that. Yeah. Well, it would be a fun evening, I think. We've Clint the Elder, Clinton Kane used to have when we had live radio from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. We used to meet out at his place, and people would come out, and we'd have a little barbecue there, and we'd meet everybody, and but that's when we had. About 6 or 8 of us to come out there, so that was kind of
6 or 8 of you.
Well, no, I mean 6 or 8 of us on the air, people on the air, So yeah, so we were out there, and we'd meet and greet and shake hands and have a adult beverage and a hamburger and whatever, and it was a fun time.
Adult beverage?
Well, yeah,
an adult beverage.
Well, yeah, that's what you gotta. What should I have said?
I don't know. Something that'll take me away.
Okay, well, I don't know. I'm not much of a drinker. But,
no, neither am I. I'm one of those drinkers. I'm cheap. One drink is
enough
too
for
many,
you. Too many
and
for you.
one drink is never enough. Right?
Yeah. Okay. I know that. Well, we'll see. So let's see from our text line 478-8298. Have Shane bring some Make Canada Great Again hats to sign autographs. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, get some Make Canada Great Again hats. That'll work.
My nephew and I are thinking about doing that because of what's going on up here with our prime minister. I mean, it's just really sad.
Yeah? Well, you should make those up. I bet you could sell the hell out of them, Shane.
No, but I mean, just telling you, like economically, it's getting scary now up here.
Oh,
like,
I
really
bet it is.
scary.
Yeah. Well.
Oh yeah, no, it's really scary.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. You got to have an election here by sometime or other, don't you? Next year.
Yeah, progressive liberals are very damaging. It's just look north, you folks, and
time for a change.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
All of our crap is spreading to you, I think so. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Calling you on the air this morning. What's going on?
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Good. I think a meet and greet with Tom and Shane would be great, along with burgers and beer. And if Chris Griffin shows up, you better wear a flak jacket.
Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe we should change our all views are welcome here to no liberal views are welcome here. I don't know.
Oh, no, you can show up. It's okay.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot for the call.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right. Take it easy. Yeah. Now, Chris would be more than welcome to come if he was to.
Of course.
Absolutely. He's a great guy. He's no, he is really. As a person, Chris is great. He really is.
Is he?
Yeah. He's a very friendly guy, very outgoing, very gregarious, whatever. His politics are a little different than ours, but, as long as you stay out of politics and talk about hockey or, things like that, he's just a normal person.
Yeah, that's right. No sex, religion, or politics.
Yeah, right. Can't go to any of those places.
The big three, big three.
Yeah, he likes the Penguins, so there you go.
Oh, the Penguins hockey team. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Pittsburgh Penguins. There you go.
Pittsburgh.
So, so we got to have those guys. So, all right, let's take a quick break here, and we'll get that out of the way, and then we can continue on to the 5 things you got to know right after this. 19 minutes after the hour. It's Friday, April 19th, 2019. It is 42 degrees outside, and Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house. And you are, of course, on the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And we've got to get to the 5 things you need to know, Shane. So
here we go.
There we go, man. All right. Well, the big thing, of course, I guess, is Mueller's report outlines obstruction evidence of the Russian election interference. So there may be some obstruction things, depending on how they define it, against Trump coming up. You never know. This Congress is going to be tough.
Well, they certainly want to make themselves look even worse.
Well,
the sad thing about the Mueller report that took 2.5 years, and the money and the interviews and everything they did to put this together came out yesterday, 400 pages, 2 sections. Mm-hmm. One about collusion, which is not a crime, how do you investigate something that's not a crime?
Yeah.
And then apparently obstruction. Well, the underlying point of obstruction is you have to have a crime that's committed to charge somebody with obstruction, and he didn't obstruct anything. So how do you investigate a president that hasn't done anything to obstruct anything?
Well, he did tell Comey to go easy on Flynn.
That's not
he did. Well, come on, I mean, that's.
He did not say to Flynn, "Do not charge General Flynn." He did not say, "Do not indict General Flynn."
Yeah,
he simply said he was having a conversation in the Oval Office with a guy that's oh man, I don't even want to start using the adjectives. And a liar, a leaker. He's abused his privilege. He was in that position under Obama, which allowed this to happen. Tom, yesterday, it took 250 years, and right under your, on the freedom of a press right in your Bill of Rights in the Constitution, for the precedent of free press to be established in your country. And you saw yesterday that it took less than 3 years for the press themselves to destroy their credibility. I mean, what the press did in your country to ignore this. What's going to come back in the next 6 months? The gloves are off. Mm-hmm. You've heard me say this. You don't think so. I do. There are going to be indictments. People have committed treason. I could not believe watching the interview yesterday with Barr and Rosenstein standing beside to him on his left side. Mm-hmm. I was stunned that guy would have the gonads to be. That guy's going to get indicted. He's going to get indicted. It's unbelievable. This is just, and I hope we talk about it with our lawyer lady, because this is Watergate in our lifetime, and it's an amazing story. The legal side of it, wow, it's just incredible.
Yeah, it is. Let's see. The report was determined that Russia interfered in the election in a sweeping and systematic fashion. Said President Trump, and his campaign did not criminally conspire with the Russian efforts, but it did not determine whether any conduct constituted obstruction of justice. The report says evidence obtained about the president's actions and intent presents difficult issues that prevent us from conclusively determining that no criminal conduct occurred. So that's a quote from the Week magazine. And
what's incredible about this, that in this report, is that Mueller doesn't outline that Comey and the FBI and President Obama and all the intelligence agencies knew this in 2014 and did nothing. They did nothing. They knew the Russians were going to interfere with this, and they did nothing about it. And here we go again. You know, we mentioned the Bay of Pigs the other day. Yeah. And what intelligence fiasco that was. And then you've got the, you know, the invasion of Iraq over the, you know, supposed, you know, weapons of mass destruction. I mean, the collapse of the Soviet Union, they didn't even come up with. They didn't.
The sleazy porn lawyer running for president.
Running
the
for
Smollett deal in Chicago. I mean, come on.
Yes, and on, Tom. You know, and it's very hard sometimes to cover this stuff for you and me because you and I laugh about it.
Well, it is. It's we have to laugh to keep from crying. It's so sad that you know that. Yeah, watching the division between the two parties get wider and wider. You know, you know, I don't want to say the radical stuff is all on one side of the party. You know, there's certainly radical Republicans out there as well, and we're not going to sit here and you know, treat the Republicans as the you know, the choir, you know, whatever. But the division between the two and the animosity for this president. And, you know, whether you like the president or not, notwithstanding, you know, he has done some good things. Now, maybe you're not as happy with all the good things he's done, but, you know, he has done a couple of good things that have helped us out. And, you know, the economy's good. Jobs are coming back. Middle class are making more than supervisors for the first time in forever. We got lowest black unemployment, lowest Hispanic unemployment. Now, I'm not going to lay all that at the foot of the president, but I can lay part of it at the confidence that he instills in the nation that makes people react in a positive way. And you know, that's what presidents do. They don't sit down and say, okay, go hire a bunch of people, you know, but I don't know. And it's just, the amazing thing is that you don't really hear in the Mueller report, which is fascinating to me, any real degree of how the Russians interfered with the election. Yeah. And then you don't even hear about the fact that the people that colluded with the Russians were the Democrats. So that's what's coming back, folks. Yeah. You wait to see what happens in the next 6 months. It's going to be fun for radio and the debates. Okay. All this it's gonna well, not if Fox isn't in it, it won't come up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Call you on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
This is Aaron. Tom, I take umbrage with that remark you made that the Republicans are as bad as the Democrats out there.
Well, they might not be as bad, but there are radical Republicans as well as
Democrats. Those are the ones that are the Democrat the rhinos.
Well, yeah, they're the rhinos. Yeah.
I mean, when Obama got into office, the Republicans gave him everything he wanted. Right? They didn't obstruct anything. They gave him all the power. They didn't fight anything that man did. And the whole division in this country, when you look at it, Trump's following the laws, plain and simple. He's not breaking laws. He's following the laws. All the division in this country is the leftists out there opposing him. That's the division. It's just they don't want Trump as the president, and they're doing everything they can to fight that.
Yeah,
that's it.
And I think they're making a mistake by not going after him at the ballot box in 2020, getting off all this impeachment crap and all this investigation, and make a case for your party and go beat him in November.
And they won't do that. But, you know, the problem is they won't come with him on any of the issues that we need them to work with him on.
Oh, yeah.
You know, everything is obstruction. The division's all on their side. You know, I mean, I could see it if he was out there trying to force citizens to own guns, because the Second Amendment's a right. And, you know, we now have constitutional authority to demand that the citizens buy products produced by corporations, right? Obama made that abundantly clear that the government has that authority. Trump isn't doing it.
Yeah. You know, he's not. Yeah. Well, he's not doing a lot. He's successful without being a politician. That's what they hate. Because they can't do that. They can't do that. They can't get a tax bill passed. They can't move the embassy in Jerusalem. They can't, get out of these treaties and whatever that were disastrous for us. I mean,
you're making my point.
Yeah.
The country isn't divided. The left has gone BS crazy.
Well, and it's because he's getting it done outside the political system, and they don't understand.
I don't think that's what it is. I think they're finally able to shed their camouflage. I mean, they've all been communists. They're just able to come out now.
Well, that's the other thing. If he were a politician, they could take him on politically, but they can't.
Right, but I think he needs to get SEAL Team 6 to take them out.
Well,
that's right. Anyway, you guys have a good day.
All right.
Yeah, great. I love that line.
Well, I don't know that we condone violence here on the Morning Soapbox, so please don't go take anybody out, all right?
I took it as a joke. It was a joke.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, we have the FCC to be conscious of, so nobody's taking anybody out, hopefully, so even though you might want to, but that ain't going to happen. All right, we got to duck out here, pay a couple bills. We'll be back right after this. 25 minutes for the top of the hour. It is Friday, April 19th, finally Friday, 2019, 43 degrees outside. Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, and we've got a bunch of things on the text line, Shane, we need to get to here, so 478-8298 is the number. Let's see. Hillary committed all sorts of crimes, but she didn't intend to, so she gets a pass. Trump didn't commit any crimes, but intended to, though he didn't do anything, so put him in jail. All right. For once, I agree with Aaron, another texter says, and it's easy to get a tax cut for millionaires passed when you own both houses and the White House. Let's see what the great negotiator does now. And encouraging illegals to come in droves and overwhelm our system is using them as political pawns. And there is some legitimacy in that, I think, Shane. That
No.
You don't think so?
No. We've talked about this endlessly about who pays taxes in your country.
Yeah.
People. I'm going to say this again. Sweden. They went through socialism. The government nationalized all industries in the country in the 70s and 80s, and the economy collapsed, and they had to reverse themselves. But today, the average middle class Swede pays 60% of the taxes and covers all the costs. And in the United States, as you know, 49% of the American people don't even pay taxes.
That's true.
87% of all taxes, state, federal, county, whatever you want to call, are paid by the upper 10%. The 1% pays 60% of all the taxes in your country. And people still make comments like that are untrue, and they continue the left's lies. And I'm telling you, the fifth estate in your country, it's so sad. I'm not that ours is any. Well, no.
I think it's the fourth estate, but that's okay.
No, the fifth estate is the press. The fifth estate is the press.
I think the fourth estate's the press, but anyway, that's okay. I don't know. Look it up. He's doing it as we speak. Well, I'm just saying that, both parties, and this is a good example of using politics to get their own end. Creating sanctuary cities, creating sanctuary states. Oh, you're so compassionate. Oh, my God. And then when Trump turns around and says, okay, well, we'll send them to you, and they go, whoa, wait a minute. I don't know if we want that just right yet when, we've got homeless on every corner, and you can't walk down a street without, stepping over whatever is in the street. So,
yes.
But yeah, I would think, hey, if you're a sanctuary city and you say that you're going to protect these people, then, hey, open your purse strings. Let's put your money where your mouth is. Mm-hmm. And you can call it a political ploy if you want, but your sanctuary city is as much a political ploy as Trump sending them to your town or your state. So there you go. Let's see from our text line. Let's see. Comey sneaking documents out of the FBI was not a crime. So I don't know. Trump tried to obstruct justice, but he was too inept to do it.
So, yeah, right.
I don't know.
There you go. That makes real sense.
Yeah. 478-8298. Everyone should read the full Mueller report. Unfortunately, Trump Davidians are unable to read anything longer than a bumper sticker or a meme. So
right.
There you go. All right. Well, hey, all views are welcome here, as we've always said. So let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Let's see what the callers have to say. Caller, you are on the air. What's going on?
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah. I guess my phone sucks because I can barely hear you.
Oh, okay.
Anyways,
sorry.
If you take a look at your paycheck, if you're not the business owner and you just get a paycheck, most of the taxes are taken out of FICA, which is your Social Security tax.
Right.
Your federal is little or next to nothing compared to that.
Yeah.
And then you got your little locals, and then your state.
Mm-hmm.
So people are always trying to blame it on the president. He's just a figurehead, man.
Pretty much.
That's what he is.
He's the CEO of the country and delegates authority to others to do the work.
Right. So you got to take a look at who you put into office in your local first. Then you look into your state, and that's where they start really raising the taxes. Because you cannot go ahead and you don't file a tax return for FICA, do you?
No.
So see, that's just completely gone right there. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you, take a look at your paychecks, and that's where you'll find all the money's going to. Yep. And that's all your little welfare stuff out here. And it's not going to end, but people just got to get off this Trump deal, bashing him all the time. I'm not saying he's the most perfect, the greatest thing around, but the thing is, we have a chance to go to work nowadays. I don't remember that back when Obama was in there for a while. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they did blame stuff on Bush, but some of that was carried over from the previous administration. And I don't care who you put in today. If you voted somebody else in there, you're going to still be your bitching, you're whining, and you're moaning and groaning. Mm-hmm. So, they tell these people is just go to work, be happy, and try to make your life a little bit better instead of trying to take more taxes out of my check. Because I'm kind of tired of hearing people bash on Trump. Just because everybody says, just bash on him. They're just a bunch of go along to get along with their own type, and they are very diseased people. And I'm over it. I'm over hearing the same crap for Republicans too, and then your commercials. Those are getting pretty damn old because they're playing news stories over and over that happened 2 weeks ago.
I know that. Yeah, we heard that the bottom of the hour is being repeated. So we just want you to make sure you get that.
I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm going to hang up. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man. No, we want you to get that 1 minute of Fox News down pat. That's why we keep playing it over and over all day long. So, yeah, I'm not sure what to do about that. I don't know. That's supposedly recorded somewhere. It's like, I don't know. It's just one more glitch in our system that we haven't got away from yet. We don't have a livestock morning report, and we don't have an ag report, I should say, and some other things don't come through. But Babel seems to work okay now, so maybe we're on the right track. I don't know, but we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after this. 13 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Friday, April 19, 2019, 46 degrees outside. Shane Mataman on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, and Tom Eaglehoff, your morning mayor, in the house. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And, we got more stuff from the text line, Shane, so let's see what we got over here. Trump is losing his mind on Twitter this morning for a guy that's totally exonerated. He's acting awfully guilty. Time for the 25th, say President Pence. Let's see. FICA is not the biggest part of our taxes. Trump gave himself an $18 tax cut. That is if we could see his returns. Innocent people don't hide. Let's see. I used to think liberals were the snowflakes. The president and his followers can't take any criticism. Grow up. Do your job. What is he, 12? All Democrats should move to sanctuary cities so they can be with other wackos. So that clears up our text line. I think. Whoop, got one more. Let's see. You're correct, Tom. The press mainstream is often thought of as, hang on here, I got a thing in the way. Is often thought of as the fourth estate. Julian Assange, bloggers, social media, non-mainstream media is the fifth estate. Let's see. Most of the tax benefits went to the uber rich, while many middle class saw tax hikes, all while adding $2 trillion to our debt, to our kids. GOP now equals debt. So there you go. That'll keep us up to speed on our text line. So what do you think, Shane? You're sitting there
I
like,
appreciate the
how boring is that?
I appreciate the texter pointing out. My reference to the fifth estate was about social media and of course, but I mean the fifth estate or the fourth estate, it was gone 2 years ago. I mean, they didn't investigate any of this and didn't care to. So
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That we were talking the other day about Walter Cronkite, for example.
Yes.
And we were saying that, he was the most trusted man in America. Well, after he got off the air, we found out what a liberal, flaming liberal he was, but you never saw it on the air. He reported the news as it was, at least in our mind anyway. Now, maybe he slanted it and we just weren't aware of it, but I don't think he did.
No.
And I think the other commentators were that way too, that the news was the news and opinion was opinion.
Well, plus at the time it was pretty much a liberal, democratic, policy and political situation. During a large part of his career.
But I noticed watching Shepard Smith yesterday, which I never watch because the business channel was down for whatever reason. So I went over to Shepard Smith, and he was pretty tough on the president with the 10 things that could be construed as obstruction, and he was pretty tough. He was pretty tough on him. So, that was, kudos to him for doing that. And Brett Baer and Martha McCallum for doing Bernie Sanders on Monday night. Was a good thing. And now I think Kamala Harris wants to be on, or one of the other ones wants to be on Fox on a Monday night thing because, where else are you going to convince people to come to your side? You're not going to convince them on MSNBC or CNN. So Fox is where you. Right. And that's what Trump did when he was running. He showed up everywhere. He was on every channel. It didn't matter if they were liberal, conservative. Didn't matter who he was talking to, but he showed up. And he'd take the tough questions and give it right back to him. And that's
and he didn't ignore the premise of the question. He'd answer it.
Yeah. All right, Jennifer Bordy's in the house. We'll be back right after these important words, and we'll finish up the 5 things you need to know, and we'll have Jennifer on at 8 o'clock, so stay tuned. A lot to do today. 4 minutes for the top of the hour. It is Friday, April 19th, 2019, 48 degrees outside. Jennifer Bordy will be in at 8 o'clock. She's currently sitting here cooling her heels and looking at Law Babe stuff, and from our text line, my wife and I are nowhere near the 1%ers, and we got $4,000 tax cut last year. So good for you. Works for me. Also from our text line, 478-8298, Shane meant the metric fifth estate. So giving him a hard time on his fifth estate, fourth and fifth estate talk. So lighten up, man. Come on. We're not making fun of you.
No, I was referencing the fifth estate. It's a social
I know you were.
It's been a defined definition since the 1960s. I didn't make it up.
Well, you were saying the press was the fifth estate.
Well,
That's
there's
where
press now on the internet now too.
Okay. Well, it is. Okay. All right. Well,
I'm talking about the guys that put out that dossier. That was the internet. It wasn't the press.
It wasn't the press. Yeah.
WikiLeaks came out on the internet. It did not come out in the press. So that's what
true.
I'm talking about.
All right. There you go. Okay.
Thank
well, we're not picking on you. Just
you are. And
I'm not. I'm not picking on you.
Go. Come on, let's get on.
I'm not picking on you. It was a funny thing. We were talking about metrics and the temperature earlier, and one of the textures just had a funny moment of clarity, and it wasn't a slam on you, and we're not slamming you. So lighten up.
All right. Okay. I'll let
okay.
All right.
Let's take a phone call. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you on the air. What's going on?
I am slamming him, and for him, the first estate is the British royalty.
Ah, there you are.
Oh, hey, you were talking about Fox News, who needs to go on of the Democrats. Andrew Yang's already been on.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, I watched him too. Yeah.
And next, they need to have Tulsi Gabbard.
Mm-hmm.
Both those have a chance to unseat Trump.
Tulsi,
otherwise it's going to be a sacrificial lamb election.
Yeah. I would, I of all the ones that are electable, and I'm not sure that she is, but I would appreciate looking at her for 4 years rather than Trump, if I had my druthers, because she is pretty hot.
She's got a lot to say.
Yeah, I've heard her. I've heard her, but she's got.
But she did make the debate, so the debates will be at least between her and Andrew Yang.
Yeah,
there should be some intelligent conversation besides Joe Biden's platitudes.
Well, Joe's getting in the race next Wednesday, we're told.
And Bernie Sanders. Same old stuff.
Yeah.
They may throw the old guy up there to get sacrificed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that may be it. So, all right. Thanks for the call. All right, appreciate it. From our text line, 478-8298, Comey, let's see, ladies, take your, oh, jeez, I can't say that. More coffee, or would it be less? Let's see, to announce that there must be no criticism of the president, or we are to stand by the president. So, and let's see. All right. That should wrap it up for that. Jennifer Bordy's in the house, so we'll be chatting with her next. So hang in there. We'll be right back. All right, thank you, Dan. Welcome back, everyone. 4 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. It is Friday, April 19th, 2019, 48 degrees outside. Shaven Tobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, half of this team. How you doing, man?
It's great. Listen, this is historical. We've waited 2.5 years for this. I mean,
I know. We're ready to go.
This has got to be a premier show for us because, clearly we've been right about all of it. So this is great. I mean, right about the election, imagine what he could have gotten done without this having been over his head. It's just incredible. So anyway, let's go.
All right. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor. Jennifer Bordy, law babe in the house. And, we have been waiting 2.5 years of $25 million. And I don't know how many interviews and requests for information.
But nonetheless, an investigation is an important tool. They don't always show what you think or what some people hope it will show.
Right.
But that's the point of an investigation. Yeah. Find out. Mm-hmm. Find out what's true, what's not true.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this particular investigation did that at all, but I think he tried. Mm-hmm. I think he investigated, and it doesn't necessarily mean that there wasn't anything to investigate. It just means that he's not going to, and some cases are like that.
Well, I think the one thing that stands out, and I think Shane will agree with this, that nobody's going after Mueller at all. Nobody's accusing.
Why should they?
Well, they're going after Barr. As the president's.
That's not even going to last.
Mueller's a Republican. He surrounded himself with all these Democrats, And nobody is saying, well, Mueller must not have done his job, or Mueller must have fudged the facts, or
I think he
Mueller's
comes
afraid
off kind
to
of
do
wimpy.
this.
I think Mueller did, but now that I've looked at, and I have not read the whole thing,
right?
Trust
okay.
me, no time, and there wasn't all that much redacted. I understand. So,
grand jury and some other things, I think, were things that are still under investigation by somebody.
Because it might influence or impact ongoing investigations.
Right. Yeah.
But first of all, I do want to at least discuss the conclusion about whether there was Russian collusion, I guess, in the Trump campaign. But mostly I do want to focus on what were put forth in the report as, and I am going to stress the word possible, because I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't see possible even in most of these instances. I think there was only one I thought could remotely approach obstruction of justice. But regardless, we'll get there in a minute.
Well, you would know from a legal standpoint, I think.
Well, I will say this, though, not having dealt with that particular offense at a federal level, it's very different under federal law than it is under, say, Montana law.
Right. Yeah.
But although the main subsection, if you will, of federal law that they would go after Trump, I guess, if they were going to, and I don't think they're going to, by the way. I think Barr's conclusion was pretty well grounded that he didn't. Except,
well, and they're going to call Mueller in. I think Mueller is going to tell him, hey, the report's in front of you, take it or leave it. And
I got to tell you, some of these things, I don't even know why he included them as possible obstruction of justice. It's a stretch. It's a stretch. But first, let's go to Russia.
Okay.
So this is what his report found, that the investigation did establish that the Russian government perceived it would benefit from a Trump presidency, and it worked to secure that outcome. And I don't think any of us really had that much doubt about that for a while now. But he found that that was true, but there's no, or not enough at least, I'm going to go with no. There's no evidence that the campaign expected, or, I'm going to use the word, even though it's not a legal term of art, colluded with Russia to make that come about. Yeah. So, yes, Russia did want those things. I think the report makes it pretty clear. And again, I think what little we had known before the report even came out, we thought that was there. I did, at least.
Well, the hard part to me, and Shane, feel free to jump in, that...
Oh, thank you. She's wrong right off the bat, so there you go.
Okay.
I'm wrong right off the bat?
Absolutely.
That the report didn't find that
there's no collusion?
It didn't find that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. Oh, that's you think I'm wrong about whether Russia wanted him to win? Yeah,
that exactly. President Trump has more sanctions against the Russians than any other presidency in history. He's garnered them basically with the bank restrictions. The oligarchs that are around him can't move money anywhere outside of Russia. On top of that, you have this whole situation where all of the stuff that did happen that was colluding with Russia, that did people. What was
colluding with Russia?
The Podesta brothers. The Podesta's brother, Podesta was the chairman of Clinton's campaign. His brother ran a firm in Washington and got paid $26 million in 2015 from the Russians to reduce the sanctions against them. And Hillary Clinton introduced the Podesta brothers to Obama. So, come on. If we're going to talk about this stuff, let's be honest and fair about it.
I was. That is what the report found. That is what I thought all along. I mean, let's face it, there were many instances we already knew about that were, again, detailed in Mueller's report about the timeline of contacts between the Trump campaign and those with Russian ties, including some direct contact with Russians. It happened. Well, we knew that happened.
Yeah, but I think one thing that nobody seems to know, and the has always been a bone of contention for me, is exactly how did the Russians deliver Trump the election? How did they do that?
I don't think they ultimately did that. But they wanted to. I think that's...
and why, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like Hillary would be much easier.
Based on what?
It would seem like Hillary would be much easier to deal with than Trump would be.
Is Hillary easier to deal with about anything?
Well,
she's not an easy woman to deal
let
with.
Let me put it this
well,
way.
she gave him uranium-1.
Well, let me put it this way. She is she's not worldly in dealing with foreign dictators, and plus they don't put a whole lot of stock in women, as you know.
That hurts to know, a former Secretary of State is not worldly.
Yeah, well, she's not. She's not.
I never thought she was a good one anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
But all right. But
Go ahead.
Let me put it this way: the report concluded,
Right.
and I also did, and I'm not the only one, from the things we did know even before the report was released, that it seemed very clear that Russia did attempt to and probably did interfere a little bit. And I guess I wouldn't say unsuccessfully, but on the other hand, I don't think Trump was elected because of Russian interference. Let's put it that way. Okay. I don't think there's any evidence of that. But there is evidence that Russia wanted him to win and did take some steps to try to interfere with the campaign.
Yeah.
Or with the election.
But again, Obama knew this in 2014 and did nothing about it. So what's your response to that?
What would he know in 2014 about an election that happened in 2016?
That the Russians were going to interfere with the election.
Okay. Yeah. He might have. I don't know. He might have.
Yeah, they did. It's documented.
All right. So he knew. I don't understand why that would impact what the conclusions of the report were, or people that observed what was going on before the report was issued.
What?
Yeah.
They knew it was going to happen. They knew it was going on. They never even went to him and say, you may have people in your campaign associated with the Russians. I mean, you're taking stuff out of this report and you're trying. I mean, all this is going to come out.
And it is in the report. Yeah. That's the point. We're talking about the report today.
Yeah.
But it's limited to the aspect of what's in the report. He intentionally did that. Who
intentionally? Mueller?
Mueller did. Of course he did.
Well, that was his directive, wasn't it, to only deal with that?
He was investigating a particular thing.
Two directives.
I don't know.
Directives.
At any rate,
with the Russians and the Trump. If you go look at Rosen's, we did this. We looked at
we did. Yeah, no,
and
I know we did.
But the first one was Russian involvement in the election.
Right.
Right.
Not just with Trump.
I agree. I agree. That was the point of the investigation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree.
All right, let's take a phone call. Yeah, 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you on the air? What's going on?
Hey, just a quick comment. I mean, I keep hearing, and even lawyers making this reference. Just because we didn't prove you were guilty doesn't mean you're not. And it seems to me like we're changing.
They say that a lot, not even in relationship just to this.
Guilty until proven innocent. I mean, Jennifer, say a couple people in town say you've been stealing from them for years, and they say that everywhere. Everyone believes it. We go to court, we find out that you weren't stealing from them. But just because you weren't stealing from those guys doesn't mean you're not stealing from your other clients.
There you are.
I suppose that's true.
I mean, I don't know what to think about you right now.
But I do. Hang on,
guys.
I do want to explain something.
Our media is not the media anymore, and the First Amendment is not being protected by them. They are a corporation whose bottom line is to make money.
Amen.
And they are no longer what the government and our Constitution said they were, and we need to fix that quickly. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for the call. All right. Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, juries find people guilty or not guilty. They don't find them innocent. Yeah. It just means that
the proponents of evidence didn't.
They didn't. Like look at the OJ case. He was found not guilty in the criminal case.
You're not the French Republic. In the French Republic, you're guilty until you prove your innocence.
That's true.
In the American Republic, you're innocent until you're proven guilty, and that's why juries say you're convicted and guilty.
Yeah.
Or not guilty. They may find you not guilty, but that doesn't mean you're innocent.
That doesn't mean you're innocent.
It means the proof wasn't there.
That's true.
So, at any rate, I mean, sometimes they are innocent, obviously.
Well, that's true, yeah.
But not guilty just means the proof wasn't there. So, okay. Yeah. Anyway, let's go on to the one that is much more in the legal realm.
Okay.
Which is these 10 instances of possible obstructing justice, which I got to tell you, some of these just made me frickin' chuckle. Yeah. It's like, really? I don't see it. Why are you even raising the specter? Mm-hmm. Now, true, I probably don't have the point of view of, because the federal law on obstructing justice is so much more complicated. I think there's like 8 or 10 statutes that cover it or subsections that cover it. And some of them are very particular. Now,
Plus, you don't have the background information and the interviews that led up to
that's true.
reaching
That's
that
true.
conclusion.
And it's kind of valid to want to see the underlying interviews and stuff. But on the other hand, even in state court proceedings, that part, the actual investigation, is usually considered confidential criminal justice information. And it's difficult to access. Now, of course, you're going to have people testify at the trial about what's in essence contained in the reports, not say this is what the report says, but this is what happened. But that's what the report is supposed to document, what they said happened to begin with. So whether or not we're ever going to see that, I don't know. And I'm not sure that there's any reason to question at least the accuracy of Mueller not redacting, that's the wrong word, but putting down in writing what he is a summary, in essence, of the investigation. So let's look, though, at what he said were possible.
Excuse me, just so he clarifies that, you're saying that Barr's summary of the investigation.
No, well, Barr did summarize the investigation or the report, but the report itself is the summary of the investigation.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not
So,
well, yeah.
Barr summarized the report summarized the investigation.
Right, yeah.
So, all right.
There we are.
At any rate. Now, I do think it's kind of funny. I'll throw this out to begin with, that a lot of these instances, and technically it's true, but it's putting a spin on it, I guess.
Let's do this, because I've got to take a break. Let's tease the first one. What's the first one?
Oh, the first one is that he made misleading statements about his ties to Russia.
Okay. All right. Let's leave it there, and we'll come right back, and we'll start with ties to Russia. Ooh, scary stuff. 20 minutes after the hour, it is Friday, April 19th, 2019, 52 degrees outside. Jennifer Bordy in the house. Shane Taubman on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house. This is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And Jennifer Bordy, Law Babe, is in the house. And we have...
That always makes me chuckle, but thank you.
Yeah, we have a caller waiting, Jennifer, with a question for you. So let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, well, not there. All right, let's try over here. Caller, you are on the air. What's going on?
Hey, good morning, distinguished gentlemen.
Good morning, and ladies.
Good morning, esteemed Law Babe.
Oh. Thank you.
Hey, Tom, be a little bit kinder to our friend Shane there. I don't want to have to start singing, who let the dogs out, man. We appreciate the guy, but
absolutely,
hey,
of course we do.
Jennifer, I assume Jennifer will probably disagree with me on this, but I'd just like to ask her expertise on one question, but please let me preface it first. You had a caller a while back, and I feel similarly that, if I had a neighbor I didn't like, and all of a sudden, I know the job the guy has, and he starts amassing all these toys and RVs and, four-wheelers, and I don't like the guy, I could go and claim, he robbed a bank or something. And let's say there's a smoking gun, or there is, like, say, circumstantial evidence where, hey, things just don't add up. He's got these things, and no way you can really say he would be able to have earned that legally, but I don't know the full story. So, in other words, though I can't prove that he's committed a crime has been committed. And Jennifer, here's what I want to ask your expertise, because can legally, in your opinion, can you have obstruction of justice where you haven't proven a crime has actually been committed? Because I think that's a real sticking point to this whole investigation, because now they're going after Trump for obstruction, but wouldn't there
but they're not. They're not going after Trump for obstruction. Barr has already determined from Mueller's report that he didn't commit it, and they're not going after him.
But, when you look at Gerald Nadler, is claiming that there was obstruction and that they want to pursue that angle. And I just want to know, from your opinion, would they really have a leg to stand on if they were to do that?
All right. Well, first of all, I guess now I have to launch into a diatribe to explain, first of all, circumstantial versus direct evidence. Every jury is told circumstantial evidence is just as good as direct evidence. There are a lot of things you could never prove without circumstantial evidence. for example, most homicides, because there's generally no witnesses except a dead person. So there could be a lot of circumstantial evidence. But on the other hand, and so circumstantial evidence can be and is just as effective to prove something as direct evidence. But whether or not, based on your observations, for example, of your neighbor suddenly accumulating all these toys, doesn't mean he must have committed a crime. That wouldn't even really be circumstantial evidence. There would have to be more than that. So now, and I'm not sure when you ask, can you convict somebody of obstructing when there hasn't been a crime committed? Do you mean that obstructing itself is a crime, or some other crime was committed for which there's been some interference in the investigation, which, by the way, is what obstructing justice usually amounts to. So that's what I'm saying about most of these 10 instances that Mueller included as possible obstruction of justice. I don't see it. Some of them are so ridiculous. Like, frankly, just asking Comey to not investigate something. You know what? I suppose really technically, yes, that could be, but it's just not enough. It's so what? I mean, lots of people would say to a cop or a sheriff's deputy or a detective or the head of the FBI, don't investigate something. You're not really trying to investigate or interfere with the investigation. You're expressing an opinion, really.
Yeah.
Is that in and of itself obstruction of justice? I don't think so. And so that's an example of one of the things included here that I'm just like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't see it. On the other hand, though, we got to remember this is the country where we had a special prosecutor investigating a real estate deal with Clinton, and all he came up with is he lied about his sex life.
Yeah.
He did get not only prosecuted ultimately for that, but impeached and not convicted by the Senate. But I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you just got to think, yeah, we are wasting taxpayers' money, I guess.
Yeah.
Although on the whole, I think the idea of the investigation was fine. That's what they're for.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
I concur, Jennifer, with everything you just said. I guess, circumstantial evidence can be so overwhelming that, it's, like I say, in a court of law, beyond a reasonable doubt, any reasonable person, by tying all the loose ends together, would have to say, this is overwhelming probability. There's no way that this person could probably not have committed this crime based upon the preponderance of evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. So I totally agree with what you're saying and your assessment. I just wanted to get your opinion on that, and I think you've expressed that well. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for the call.
One other thing I probably should say, though, is the testimony of an eyewitness is not circumstantial. So all of these allegations of possible obstruction of justice are based on, in essence, eyewitness testimony. They're based on people saying, well, Trump asked me to do this and I didn't do it.
Right, yeah.
But nonetheless, even what he asked, I don't think amounts to obstructing justice in almost every instance.
I was going to say,
I think there's one.
Yeah.
It might have come close, but not really.
Yeah.
So,
If I asked you to walk down the hall and shoot Scott.
Yeah, you've been soliciting a crime.
Yeah, right. I'd be the guilty one. You're probably not going to walk down the hall and
probably
shoot Scott.
am not.
And we don't anticipate that any violence will happen. So,
all right. So the first one that I teased before the break about the first one Mueller found, was misleading statements about Trump's ties to Russia. Now, frankly, it looks like that is actually true. He did make them. But again, is it obstructing justice? Because the statements, he said, I have no ties to Russia. And the ties that were established is, for example, attempting to build a hotel there.
Yeah.
Certain other non-national related interests in Russia. So, yeah, he might have said, I don't have any ties, but all the while he's trying to build a hotel there. It's just like, okay, so what? So what if he lied about that? What has that really got to do with anything? So that was the first instance he found, that he made misleading statements about his ties to Russia. And again, while it appears to be true, it's not the ties they were looking for, that we tried to have Russia help us interfere with the campaign. or the election. So
Okay.
again, I just don't think, I don't know, but
It's a stretch.
he included it. Yeah, it's a stretch that would be obstructing justice. All right, so the next one is I already alluded to, which is asking Comey to end an investigation. So Comey was head of the FBI at the time. The FBI obviously does investigations, and he asked him not to investigate his former security advisor, Michael Flynn, who ultimately was charged with something as a part of Mueller's investigation.
And to go easy on him, too.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, isn't that more like, it would be different if he said, don't investigate. That might have risen, but just say, hey, what do you think? Don't investigate my friend here or my security advisor. It's just not enough, in my opinion.
All right, we got to take a break, and Jennifer Bordy's in the house. Shaman Taubin, half man, half amazing, on the line with me. Tommy Gulliff, your morning mayor, in the house, and we'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back, everyone. 25 minutes for the top of the hour, Friday, April 19, 2019, 53 degrees outside. Shaman Taubin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, and Tommy Gulliff, your morning mayor, in the house. You're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane, and Jennifer Bordy, Law Babe, is here. And from our text line, 478-8298, Shepard Smith is a never Trumper, and he certainly sounded like that yesterday when I tuned into him. And also, you're repeating the same news soundbite over and over again, Trump relocating to Sanctuary City. Well, we're reporting that because we really want you to get that message. So, no, it's locked in the system, and the news of the top of the hour is live. Yeah, the news of the top of the hour is live, but apparently we're not letting outside information come in. So I don't know. Maybe we'll just take that out, but I don't know. So anyway, let's see. Yeah. Voice of Montana, the same thing. It's been the same for about 3 weeks. So welcome to radio. We love it. Let's take a phone call, then we'll get back to Jennifer here. Caller, you're on the air with Jennifer Bordy, Shane, and myself. What's up?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Morning.
So I'm going to tell you what the biggest obstruction of justice has been throughout the last 2.5 years. And the most glaring example of this is that they have not, at least to my knowledge, none of this investigation looked at Hillary Clinton, Obama, the fake dossier that Hillary paid for, Peter Strzok and his paramour, all the efforts that were made to destroy this president, the Fusion GPS involvement with Bruce Orr and his wife Nellie, Andrew McCabe, all these high-up people in the FBI and the Justice Department that perpetuated this entire false narrative from the very beginning that created this, over 2 years of, 30-some lawyers working under Mueller and on, and that created this whole scandal. And if none of this is in his investigative reports, then the whole investigative report to me is a moot point and a ridiculous piece of worthless paper to begin with. So there's the obstruction. Mueller is the one that's been obstructing justice by ignoring all the obvious people that were involved in this at the very beginning. What say you?
Yeah. Okay. You're clicking, Shane. Just to let you know.
That was his phone hanging up.
Oh, no. I'm hearing a clicking sound from.
Oh, it's probably my mouse again. I'm sorry.
Okay. No problem. I'm just letting you know that it comes across the air. So.
All right. Well, we're never going to get through all these 10
I know we're not
don't
today.
Talk about it
forget
a little
it.
bit. All right.
It's not going to happen.
Actually, and the next two are kind of tied together anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
One of the other instances that he included as a possible obstruction of justice was President Trump's attempts to stop Jeff Sessions, from recusing himself from the Russian investigation. Yeah. And I'm just going to liken that to, all right, so he didn't want him to recuse himself from doing the investigation in his department. And, I just there could be lots of reasons. I mean, one could be he just thought he was the most competent and able to handle it. And is that any different than saying to someone, hey, you should run for office or don't run for office? It really isn't. I mean, that, again, to me is a very, very weak example, if it's even an example at all of a possible obstruction of justice. Then the next one that Mueller included was...
Okay, not so fast, because later, after he did that, there was a review by the Department of Justice, and he said, and in a news conference...
You got to quit using pronouns. I don't know who you're talking about. Who's he?
I'm talking about the Attorney General at the time,
Sessions.
accused of Sessions.
Right. Yeah.
And he said in a news conference, after further review by the Justice Department, he should not have recused himself. They convinced him to. Rosenstein.
Who is they?
And the people,
Rosenstein.
Rosenstein and the other people in the and the people in the FBI convinced him to do it. So
okay, all right. But the point of the report is that Trump didn't want him to, and Mueller included that as a possible obstruction of justice. My opinion is doesn't even remotely approach an obstruction of justice. I'm not even sure why you'd include most of these things he included, and that's one of them. And then the next one he includes is trying to get Jeff Sessions to resume control of the inquiry.
Right.
And again, how is that?
Yeah.
It just
doesn't meet a...
I mean, we are stretching things beyond stretching things. And so...
Do you think Mueller thought, I've got to put out something? After 2.5 years,
He might have. He might have.
After 2.5 years, $25 million, 2,800, witnesses, and
whatever. Yeah, maybe that was exactly what happened.
I gotta put some kind of icing on this cake.
It's sort of because some of these, to me, they don't even remotely come under obstruction of justice. So why would you include them as possible obstruction of justice?
Well, that's what I say. I think he just says, well, gee, I'm sitting here with nothing.
Yeah. I mean, well, you know what? I keep saying an investigation is fine because, they can also exonerate people. Now, I don't think this one exactly exonerated President Trump, but it didn't. It more exonerated him than didn't. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you do an investigation to find out.
Well, the 10 things there are pretty hard to be defined as impeachable offenses.
Well, and that's a whole other issue.
But Congress could stretch it that far.
Will the House take this and say, well, he did commit obstruction of justice, we're going to impeach him?
No.
They might, but I don't think they're going to.
I don't think they will either.
I give the Democrats some credit to know there's no point in impeaching him on this stuff. It's so weak. Because even if it was strong, probably the Senate, the Republican-controlled Senate, is never going to convict him on it.
Well, and also they'd have to present it to Barr, and Barr's not going to.
No, not for impeachment. If they wanted to impeach based on this,
if they thought they had some kind of crime, they'd have to send it to Barr.
Some other crime, yes.
Yeah, they'd have to send it to Barr.
Absolutely.
Let's take another phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the air. What's going on?
Morning, guys. This question might be best answered by Jennifer if she has any idea, but for some time during this controversy, I've been wondering if within government agencies, let alone specifically the FBI or CIA, if there is some sort of a, which might call a whistleblower's protection rule. For example, when I was in the Army, and it was after the My Lai massacre in Vietnam. And one of the things that resulted from the My Lai massacre and also the Nuremberg trial in Germany was the fact that
following orders.
Soldiers could not claim that they committed atrocities because they were following orders. So. Yeah.
They could claim it, but not successfully.
Yeah, Nuremberg.
They did claim it.
Nuremberg didn't do that.
Back to the FBI. There had to have been individuals within arm's reach or within the orbit of these higher-level individuals that were committing this corruption. There had to be some middle-level people or someone just under these folks that knew what was going on, and did they have any sort of an obligation to be or act as a whistleblower in a situation like this, if they knew it, or they under such intimidation that they dare not say anything or take their concerns to anywhere else. So I'll hang up and let you guys answer it off the air.
All right, we're going to have to answer it after this break, so think about it, Jennifer, and we'll be right back. 12 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Friday, April 19th, 2019, 53 degrees outside. Shane Mataman on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, and just dropping everything. You okay, man?
I'm sorry, I dropped my phone. I didn't mean to. I got excited.
It's an exciting show. Jennifer Bordy, Law Babe in the house. Tommy Goloff, your morning mayor. You're on the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. We're going through some of the things that in the Mueller investigation that they might be considered obstruction of justice.
He came up with. Yeah. And most of them are pretty facetious, to tell you the truth.
The answer to our caller's question about the Nuremberg trials and everything, no,
a whistleblower, at least in America, never has an obligation, or they won't be a whistleblower if they don't report something. But no, they don't have a legal obligation to do that.
Yeah, so. Or if they find out they didn't report anything, they haven't committed a crime.
Now, if they cover it up, though, and lie about something, that's a different story.
That would be something different,
but do they have an obligation to come forward with something they know? No, not
hopefully they would, but no.
All right, so the next one, actually, I'm going to skip one because we have so little time.
Yeah.
But one of them was firing Comey as head of the FBI. And we talked about this when it happened, actually. Mm-hmm. Trump has an absolute right to do that.
Yeah.
He can do it. He doesn't have to have a reason, nothing.
Yeah.
And I liken this one to, I get a lot of phone calls about this. Somebody feels they've been discriminated against, and at work usually. And it's, were you discriminated because of your age? Were you discriminated against because of your sex, because of your religion, because of any of those things? Oh, no, they just don't like me. Well, guess what? That's not discrimination.
That's not discrimination, is it? Yeah.
People are allowed not to like you legally. Yeah. So as long as if you end up fired, they can document why, because you didn't do your job or whatever. It has nothing to do with discrimination. Well, firing Comey is in that realm because he could fire him. He absolutely had the power to fire him, and he did fire him. And why that would be obstructing of justice, I suppose. If they could make a case that he fired him just so, it wouldn't even be if he fired him because he recused himself.
Yeah,
he's not the one that recused himself. But
well, if they fired him because they felt he was on a track to damage Trump's
if he fired him because his investigation was showing something, that would be something. But they don't have any of that's what happened at all. So, and in fact, if you think about his whole first 6 months in office, all he did was fire people.
Well, I was going to say.
People went in and out of the White House faster than...
I was going to say, there's quite a line going through there.
It would be really hard to prove there was anything else in Trump's personality. That's what he did.
Yeah. So.
And by the way, we also have a whole TV show to prove that, where he said, "You're fired."
That's true.
On a regular basis. So... that shows nothing besides it was just President Trump. But when it comes to Comey, he had absolute power to do that.
All right. Let's take one more quick break, and we'll finish this up right after this. All right, little pomp and circumstance music there for you. All right, we've got about 5 minutes left here, Jennifer.
Let me see if I can cover some of these. Jennifer
Bordy in the house, Shane Mataman on the line, and Tommy Goloff, your morning mayor. So go for it, darling.
Okay, some of these are kind of the same, so I'll try to lump them together in light of our time. But one was reacting to the disclosure that his campaign was under investigation, and he wanted people like Comey and the CIA director, Mike Pompeo, to say that he wasn't under investigation or other things, that he wanted them to tell the public that. But again, while he was in essence perhaps asking them to lie, it's not the same as telling them stop the investigation. Right. That would be interfering with an investigation. Yeah. But asking them to say something not true about it, I guess, is not quite the same. That may be its own offense, but it's not obstructing justice. And so, and then another one about misleading statements, which is similar to an earlier instance that he cited as possible. Misleading statement about meeting with the Russians, that actually was specifically tied to reaction to a New York Times article. And he dictated, apparently, the response, which was to pretty much ignore the allegations about Trump Jr.'s meeting with the Russians. But again, so what? What is dictating a response to a New York Times article? I mean, that one really.
Yeah, that's a much.
Either I'm a total idiot as a lawyer, or I just don't get it, and I just don't get it. So don't answer whether I'm a total idiot as a lawyer. I don't want to know that one.
All right.
All right. So I guess I'll just kind of run through the others. Reacting to the Mueller appointment and trying to fire him. You know, for one thing, he didn't have the power to do that. He did not have the power to do that. Yeah. So, but he didn't. He didn't do it, whether he wanted other people to. Again, you're allowed to explore options like that if you want to. There's really nothing wrong with that. And same with trying to oust Jeff Sessions. Okay, well, he wasn't happy with him because he recused himself and then wouldn't unrecuse himself. But again, that is his pick for Attorney General. He is the chief of the executive branch, and he could have fired him. And so just trying to get him to resign, I don't get that.
No.
To me, that's a stretch. Now, here's the one that could have been an actual possible obstruction of justice. But for one thing, the title of it in the report is that he was either talking to witnesses about testimony or having others talk to witnesses about testimony, which is specifically a way of obstructing justice under federal law. And just by way of information, in Montana, it's got its own crime. It's called tampering with witnesses. So, but at any rate, but the explanation underneath that of what might have been talking to witnesses, it doesn't really match the title. So he's got this thing that could be actually an obstruction of justice if he'd had the evidence to support that. But you might be right in your theory. He had to say something.
Yeah.
He spent all these years and all this money. Yeah. He had to say something. Well, it's a stretch.
The one that is kind of close would be not to cooperate. You know,
well, right. Or tell a witness to say this, or tell a witness to say that. And again, that's different than telling or asking head of the FBI to say something. Yeah, that's different.
Because he was pretty sure that everybody on the staff would be called in to the Mueller investigation, and almost all of them were, I think. And
all right, and then the last one, I'm just like, has Mueller never been in private practice? Maybe not. I'm not sure. I don't remember his background all that well. I know he's been tied to the government a long time. Yeah. But interacting with his personal lawyer, how is that ever?
I was going to say, don't you have attorney-client privilege?
On people interacting with their lawyer, for goodness sake. It's like, are you kidding me? That one hurts. It hurts the world. It doesn't hurt Trump at all. It hurts the world to imply that there could be something wrong with that. And so, that was it. Those were the 10 supposed instances. Maybe I'm wrong, but I got to think, for more than just this reason, the Democrats are smarter than trying to get him impeached on this.
There you go. All right.
But they're not going to do it anyway, because they know even if they did impeach him on this, the Senate is never going to convict him.
Never going to.
There's no point.
All right, we got to go. Thanks, Jennifer. All right.
It's actually been kind of fun.
Say goodbye, Shane. Oh. Sorry. All right, I'll say goodbye. Okay, say goodbye, Shane.
Still don't have him.
Oh, there you are. I'm sorry, I had you put out. Go ahead. No, okay, well, all right. All right, I'm out of here.
All right.
So are you.
Next week.
We'll see everybody bright and early Monday morning, 6 a.m.